Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Pixelated Sausage Show. Hi. How are y'all doing? How's everyone doing? More like it. Well, I mean, you, talking to you, but also everyone. But everyone is also individually all you. So, same thing. But how are y'all doing? Hopefully well. I am, of course, your host, Mark Krishnez. And today I've got a few games to talk about, not too much. Should be a shorter episode because this past Monday, my father celebrated 78 years on this here planet Earth. And because my weekdays are pretty packed, I don't have a lot of free time to do much of anything. We spent the weekend celebrating in the ways he wanted to. Very light, but it took away my time to do other stuff. It's a big time. It's the main time when I play stuff for this here show or just relax and so on. It's my free time to do what I want with it, whether that be extra work, side work, relax, so on and so forth. And because I wanted to dedicate the weekend to him, it made this here episode a little less packed than it might otherwise be. The games I will be talking about a little later in the episode are Monster Energy Supercross 25, the official video game, Akatsuki, Lord of the Dawn, and My Little Universe. It's only 3 games this week, but maybe something there might interest you. Before I get to all those, though, we put out, and by we I mean me, put out a brand new episode, same thing. Well, same thing technically here. Next week, a brand new will be a 3rd episode, so can't say a second again. But a brand new episode of Animezingly Baka, in case you missed the 1st episode or missed the return of that there show. It is now back and changed slightly. Well, maybe not so slightly. If you think about it as originally an anime-only podcast, now it's a anime, movie, TV show, comics, books, manga, music. Not all that stuff is in every single episode. It is just the space, the podcast, the show, for me to put all of that extra stuff there while I have so many other things for video games, whether it be this year's show, which is the general video game podcast, or Attack the Backlog, Second Runs, The Last Call, etc. Not to mention the streaming. Something in my mouth. What was that? I think that was a little bit of almond skin. I know you're so excited to hear about that. But Animezingly Baka is back. Put out a 2nd episode, and I'm feeling way more confident this go around that Animezingly Baka will not be canceled after 2 episodes, and then be deleted, and another 3 months passes until we try again. I'm feeling confident there. What I'm not feeling so confident about is my hair. I am trying to grow it out, and I have successfully done that so far, but it is in that stage. I feel like it was longer the last time I started growing it out, but I did get it trimmed to get rid of any split ends and so on about a few weeks ago. So it did lose a bit of length through that. I'm guessing I wasn't really paying attention. As someone with glasses and poor eyesight without glasses, I always find it funny. I'm curious if anyone else feels the same, and I just wonder how I've gone through so many haircuts with so many stylists, and they all don't seem to notice, or they think my vision's not that bad. Do they just think people with glasses don't have really bad vision? Every time they're cutting my hair and they're doing something, they're like, how does that look? I'm like, I could, it's just shapes me, person. It's just shapes me. It looks fine. I don't know. I'm not going to put my glasses on. I'm covered in this fucking smock, whatever it is. I have no idea. And then they turn me around and show me the back. And I'm like, how does that look? It looks like the back of my head, I guess. I don't see a crazy shit. It's not like a mismatched Picasso painting. So I guess good job. Good job. I don't fucking know. And then they take everything off. And then I put my glasses back on. I'm like, maybe I don't like it. Maybe I like it. Maybe I'm indifferent about it. Whatever. It doesn't really matter because what are you going to do about it? There are plenty of times, though, when I was in my younger years, not as a kid, but in my 20s and so on, that the depression, the body dysmorphia was less managed like it is now. And I would get a haircut, hate it for some reason or other, and then just go home and buzz my hair. And then for a long time, I was just buzzing my hair myself. I was giving myself haircuts for maybe close to 10 years at a point because I just couldn't deal with the anxiety of getting a bad haircut. Even though my haircuts were definitely not anything special, but it was just a simple buzzing, slight difference in length. And the thing is, I like getting a haircut. I think it's the part in me that likes physical contact, not in a weird way. I think the sensation of knowing I'm here. I can touch myself as much as I want, any way I want. That sounds really weird out of context. Even in context, it sounds weird, but I can touch myself, slap myself right now. I can do that till the roosters come crowing home. The crows, there's some saying like that. But I can do that as much as I want. And I can be like, oh yeah, I'm still alive. I pinch myself. I'm awake. But there's something about contact with another living being. And this includes animals. That's why I hate dogs, but I love cats. But even though I don't like dogs overall, there are dogs that I have really loved. And if they just weren't so chill, dogs can be cool. And ones who don't want to lick everything. But you get those hyperactive dogs that when they see you, they just get so fucking excited. I'm like, chill out, all right? And keep that tongue in your fucking mouth. Don't touch me. Because their tongues, is there a dog that has a non-slobbery tongue? Because that's the thing I like about cats. Cats can lick me all they want. This is a real, ugh. There are so many things you could take out of this podcast, out of context, that sound fucking awful. But I don't mind when cats lick. My cat Pokey, he'd lick me. I don't know how to not make that sound weird. But cat tongues feel more like sandpaper. They're rough. And I don't mind that. It's the wet, slobbery nastiness of a dog tongue. And I think also the size of it. Cats are generally all roughly the same size. Dogs come in all shapes and sizes, but you would have to get a little dog to not have a tongue that, like, stay away from me. Something like a Chihuahua, or I don't like pugs. Pugs, I think, are my one of my best friends back in the day. He had a pug, and good. People like pugs. I look at them like, no. The dog that, well, I've said this before. If I ever were to get a dog, I don't want a greyhound. But I also like, just from a visual standpoint, I don't think they're the exact same breed, but Fraser's dog and the dog from The Mask, that relative size of dog and that kind of look, that kind of more sleek beagle look, they kind of have the same coloring, except I don't think they have any, I don't think either of those, The Mask or Fraser dog, had any black/dark brown in them, just the lighter brown. I don't know if it's the same dog either, but you know, a dog I'd also take, just because of the memories I have with the show. Give me Wishbone. I'll take a Wishbone. Where was I going with this? Haircuts? Oh yeah, touching. Touching. I just like that physical contact because there's something about that from an external living being that I think, again, is just like a nice reminder that you're here and you can interact with other living beings. And it feels nice to know that. I don't know. Why I like cuddling and all that jazz and don't care about the other stuff. And I'm asexual. Yay. Maybe someday. Maybe someday I'll enjoy that stuff. But there's a lot of more stuff that has to happen first before I could even get to the point where I could test that out. I know this is all exciting stuff to talk about. How did we get here? Animezingly Baka to me. Oh, my hair. That's it. I'm continuing to grow it out though. And I just wanted to get past this phase already. And I feel like to truly make progress with this, I'm going to have to last the year at the very least. What I kind of want, I just rewatched The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. I think that's the name of the title, the name of the movie, the Terry Gilliam movie that he's trying to make forever. And Adam Driver is in it. And he has longer hair and he does the thing where just pulls back the top and ties it back in like a little short ponytail because it's not long enough to have a long ponytail. And I feel like I want to be able to do that, even though I think most people look at that and be like, oh, that's a douchey haircut. I don't fucking care. People can judge haircuts all they want. Do I like it? Am I comfortable in it? That's what matters. That's what's helped me with my body dysmorphia is understanding. It's really weird with my body dysmorphia because there are aspects. It's this weird thing of me not liking a lot, yet being comfortable with not liking a lot and just finding the things I can do to make me the least not comfortable, the things that I like the most least. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's not always easy. It's not always something that I can just brush off. It still is something that can keep me from going here, going there, because I don't want people to see me how I am. But that's fun. What are we doing? What are we talking about here? Hair everywhere. Another thing I'm curious about is with my hair at its current length and as it gets longer, I'm trying to figure out what is the hair product you're supposed to use with longer hair. Because I use fiber when it's shorter. Fiber does not feel or seem right for this. Oh my God. I just want something that basically gives me that oily look fresh out of the shower. I want something that takes my poofiness away and weighs down my hair and just, it doesn't need to hold it. I don't need it to be held. I don't need it to be so hard and locked in place that a gust of wind's not going to blow it away. I just want it to be not poofy. That's what I want. Not poofy. But enough about all that. Who cares? Let's talk about some games, right? Before I get to what I've been playing, though, of course, last week, we had the whole Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, and then the aftermath, you can call it, where the price was revealed, the price for software, some of the other stuff came out, and then the stuff with tariffs that held off the pre-orders, which were supposed to go live yesterday, and we're still waiting on that. Who knows? Because we just, during the night, I think, or the evening of yesterday, Trump paused the tariffs on all but China for 90 days. I don't know if that affects any of their plans or if they're still looking at it as a future thing, and also how the tariffs affect them depending on what it actually entails. Is it them getting parts from this country, that country, where they're assembling it, where they're shipping them from, so on and so forth? There are still a lot of questions. They also paused the pre-orders in Canada to align with the US. But we did learn that the what the fuck is it? The Welcome Tour game, quote unquote game, is going to cost $10, which it's so insane. I don't care if there's a lot more to it than they've shown. One, show what that a lot more is. Give us a reason to look at it and say, this is worth money, but also, how do you just... It's called fucking Welcome Tour. It should be the first... It shouldn't even be an icon on the Switch 2. It should be the thing that launches the second you set up all your stuff when you turn on your Switch 2 for the first time. You input the date, you input your Wi-Fi password, all that jazz, and then it does its little Nintendo Switch boot up screen and noise, whatever it is, and then it takes you to Welcome Tour, and it starts to introduce the console to you, how everything works, what's new, and then you get to play some games and utilize those features. Here's a little thing that allows you to use the mouse functionality. Here's something that shows this off, and so on and so forth. That's what Welcome Tour should be. It's called fucking Welcome Tour. It shouldn't be, hey, you just bought this and you set up everything. The first thing we want to do is just let you know there's this Welcome Tour thing that is going to tell you everything you want to know about this console in a fun, interactive way. But can you give us a credit card? Give us your credit card first. Okay, $10. It's a deal. It's such a good deal. No, it's not. Fucking, it's terrible. It's so stupid. But then you have, of course, as we talked about, Mario Kart 8 World, $80. Donkey Kong Bonanza, that they still don't want to tell us who's making Bonanza, at $670. There's a lot of questions, but I am, unless something crazy did happen and they raise the prices a bunch, which I'm thinking, I have a high doubt that, and maybe with this announcement of the pause on tariffs, that may be a way of, outside of China, where they're just going to have this insane back and forth, and who knows how that's going to play out. But maybe this pause on tariffs with all other territories is a way of gradually working towards being like, actually, you know what, never mind. It's maybe the best way Trump and his aides and the team around him can figure out how to cancel this without making Trump look like an idiot who made a horrible mistake. Because that's the thing that I think is what is the biggest hurdle in terms of reversing a lot of this tariff nonsense. I don't want to get political, of course, but when it affects stuff like the Switch 2 and Razer paused all laptop orders, pre-orders, I think. And I don't know if there have been other stuff that have come out regarding all that. So it is something that is directly affecting the game industry and potentially you as a listener or watcher. So it's not something that is political outside of the gaming space. It is having a direct effect on this space we know and love. But I just want to pre-order my Switch 2. I want to get it pre-ordered in. I want to get it locked in. It comes out right around my birthday. I want to get it for myself as my little birthday gift. And then I can finally play games that I've been holding off on for so long because I want to play them on nicer hardware with better performance. I so badly want to play Pokemon Scarlet. Is it Violet and Scarlet? I so badly want to play it. And I'm just waiting. If I can lock in that pre-order, and again, no price change, I think that'll be my birthday Attack the Backlog stream game. A current streaming game, finally, one, playing my PlayStation 5 Pro. I've had it since obviously, because I got the 30th anniversary edition. I couldn't have ordered it down the line. But I only used it to capture footage of Infamous First Light for my Attack the Backlog episode of Spider-Man Miles Morales. And outside of that, haven't used it at all until now. Finally playing The Last of Us Part 2 because I've been wanting to play it for so long. I said it was going to be the first thing I played as soon as I got my PlayStation 5 Pro, and it ends up being that basically. But I said I was going to play it the second I got the Pro, and then I decided to wait until we were closer to the start of Season 2 of The Last of Us. And since we're right around there, figured now's the time. Let's get it done. And we're 3 nights in. I have thoughts. You'll have to either pop into a stream if you want to hear those thoughts, or wait for the eventual Attack the Backlog episodes for it. But if you are interested in checking out any of the streams, they're of course archived on YouTube, or if you want to see them live, 7 p.m. Central to 10:30, 11 p.m. weekdays. So now that I've rambled on long enough to try and stretch out this show, let us talk about what I've been playing. So we're going to start with Monster Energy Supercross 25, the official video game. This is a big step in the franchise because this is the first one that is using Unreal Engine 5. There's also some AI stuff going on with, I think, the computer controlled. I was gonna say controlled riders. The computer controlled riders in how they tackle the courses and so on. But I've played a little bit of it, mostly just in the career mode. There's additional stuff you can do, basic single events and some online stuff as well. But I focus on the career, and it's pretty light, basic, shallow type career progression. Nothing too fancy. It does have something I like in a career mode, which just is the social media thing where you can see fake people commenting on your performances and other stuff of that nature. And I'm always a fan of that. But the driving itself, one, with it moving to Unreal Engine 5, it looks nice, but it's not so pretty, or even that, to that point, it doesn't feel like such a jump from the previous game that I remember, that I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. I can't believe what I'm seeing. But the real issue with the game that makes it hard to recommend is that I think the audience for this already knows who they are, and they are excited for this. They're looking forward to it. And I think those people have a relatively decent time. I don't know how big of a jump this is from the last game, so I can't speak to whether it's a worthy upgrade, update, so on. But what makes it, I think, only for those people and not potential newcomers is that it is very much so a racing sim. And even when you turn it on to the easiest difficulty with various assists and all of that, it is still on the more challenging side where you will fall off your bike a lot making turns. And there's still a lot in terms of physics and how you ride, how you tackle turns, how you tackle bumps, how you tackle this and that, that even with assists on, like I said, it's not going to be a very casual, friendly experience. You're not going to get an arcade experience from this. If you remember the Dirt series, which I'm sad that it is completely dead. I think now Dirt Rally is just EA Rally or WR, I don't know. EA bought them, and I don't remember what they rebranded it, but if you remember when Dirt was a thing, It's the difference between Dirt Rally and the Dirt series. The Dirt series was the more arcadey, quote unquote for me, fun dirt games, and the Dirt Rally was the simmy ones. And this is way more in that Dirt Rally space than a Dirt. And even when you dumb it down, it doesn't lose its simmy nature when you put on the assists and all that. So unless you're really into these games, I don't think this is the one to jump into as a newcomer. I don't think this is going to turn you into a fan, and therefore it's kind of a hard game to recommend to somebody who's maybe on the fence about it, because you're either in it or not. And if you're in it, you're already playing it probably. And if you're not, this is not going to convert you. But that is Monster Energy Supercross 25, the official video game. Next is Akatsuki, Lord of the Dawn. This is a bit of a weird real-time strategy, auto battler type of thing that has you managing some areas. You just go on little exploration runs, collect resources, move along this hexagonal grid, gradually moving towards other spaces in this map, exploring the areas again for resources, and then building various structures on them, whether they're farms or collecting resources or other types of resource gathering buildings and so on, or roads that will allow you to progress through these areas. And when you go on these various missions, whether it be just you casually exploring on your own or taking on a mission from a town and doing something specific or other quests, you're going in these areas. There'll be some enemies that are fighting you, and you have your main player character that you can move around, as well as your team that you can have up to maybe like 15 AI characters along with you, and they'll all battle on their own, and you will attack on your own when you're within range of an enemy. And those missions, in my experience, last maybe a minute at max. They're very, very short missions, and it's fine, but it's not super engaging. And the worst thing about the game is that it starts off with so much fucking dialogue and story that I couldn't care about. But more than that, I was just blown away by how this pixel art game that seems very grindy, repetitive in a way that could be appealing potentially, it makes a terrible first impression by having you read dialogue for about, I just started skipping it, and I couldn't believe how long it was going. I was just skipping. I'm like, I can't believe there's still more dialogue here to have read. I feel like if I didn't skip it all, there would have been 10 to 15 minutes of just reading before any playing. And then you get to the actual playing, and it's just this auto battler type of thing that is incredibly unengaging. And having that be the gameplay experience after all of that dialogue, it was just like this 1-2 punch of, well, I really don't care. Because there's no strategy, seemingly. Maybe there will be later on, but the battles are all very, very easy. There's seemingly no strategy to how you make up your team, what you do with any of it. It's just all very easy. You gain resources to level up your characters and your team members. They have various abilities that you can use. You can toggle between their cards during a battle and use those abilities. But outside of that, it's just very basic, simple stuff. So that was a bit of a disappointment and just a wild, what the hell are we doing here with all this dialogue in this kind of game? Just, I mean, you can have a lot of story in this game if you want, but don't be so top heavy with it. That is, again, the Akatsuki, Lord of the Dawn. And then last we have My Little Universe, which I believe was a mobile game originally and has made its way to console. I've seen some reviews of people talking about it and how they like this version because it has no ads. And it definitely feels like something built for mobile because it is this incredibly simplistic type of resource gathering, explorative, open-ish, not really world type thing that is, again, hexagonal, grid-based thing that you start off in this very small space and there are some trees there. You chop them down and you're getting the resources of the tree as you're chopping them down, and then you're able to create new paths to new areas one by one, one grid by one grid with the resources you collect. And so you do that, you go and collect some more resources. You'll eventually open up an area that has some rocks that you can mine, and that allows you to continue building upon that original area and exploring more of this world. And it's a fine kind of turn your brain off and just quote unquote play while you're watching something or listening to a podcast. But again, it's not very engaging. The default controls are for you to auto mine and axe and attack enemies, the seldom rare enemies that do pop up every now and again. And there's no reason to turn that off, because with your controls, if you're controlling the character, you're not going to attack any faster or collect resources any faster. Maybe you can ever so slightly, but I promise it won't be in any way noticeable to make it worth having to press the button over and over and over again. There's no reason not to just let it play for itself in that sense. But I think what makes it more unengaging than the fact that it plays for itself in that sense is that it is a relatively linear game. So you have your little area, and there might be one space or two spaces that you can go down, two different paths that have little values for how much they want you to put in there to open up a new area. And sometimes the path might branch. But with all those branches, one of those is eventually going to dead end, and one's going to lead you to the next main area. And it's fine. It's just, I played it for an hour and I got through a lot of this area. I eventually got a little shortcut so that I wrapped around, and I'm continuing to collect resources. And I think the goal of this thing is to max out, find everything in this one world so that I can then take my little spaceship to another world. But it just, it wasn't something that I was super like I was playing it, but I was probably giving it 25% of my attention, because that's all that required of me. And it makes sense for that to be a really good mobile experience or a handheld experience. But playing it on a big TV like I was doing, it's just like, I was just playing The Last of Us Part 2 not that long ago, and now I'm playing this game that is just playing itself for the most part. This is a weird yin and yang type of situation of, one, I'm very focused in, and the other, I'm just like, I'm looking around my room, I'm like, oh, what's happening on the internet? I'm just checking the web. I'm browsing the internet. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've collected some resources. I'm doing what I'm doing. It's just like, all right. And the thing is though, I wasn't having a bad time with it. It's the thing I enjoyed, quote unquote, playing the most of the three this week. But it's just, again, it was like, okay, you can play cooperatively as well. I think the thing that really ends up hurting for me is that I don't mind the parts of the gameplay that are unengaged. I wish it was more of a Minecraft type. Here's a world you created, or that's randomly generated, or you create with a seed or something along those lines, and you're able to move in your own direction. But it's not. It's a resource gathering game, not a survival crafting game. So there's no real crafting or anything of that sort. It's just you have an axe, a pickaxe, and a sword. And you'll be able to upgrade them through resources, but that's all you have. Those are the only tools. No digging, no other things. It's just chopping down trees and then mining various types of ores and rocks. That's it. You'll come across different machines that can turn raw wood into refined wood, or or into ignots and stuff like that, but nothing too crazy. Collect gold every now and again. You'll find some gold. You might fight a big enemy, which is very easy to deal with. The combat is super easy, but it was fine. It is a decent, again, game to play when you're watching something or listening to something. It's a great podcast. That is, again, my little universe. And that will do it for this here episode of the Pixelated Sausage Show. Once again, I am Mark Kirchnez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, to occasional watch party, a private Discord channel, along with some fancy Discord roles, and the random drop on the Patreon here or there, depending on your tier. Or you could just support me to support me if that is your fancy. That is, again, patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. That is, again, that is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have both a wonderful rest of your day, a lovely rest of your week, and a wonderful weekend. But for now, adios, arrivederci. Bye bye.
It's go time, go daddy. It's go time, go daddy.